Welcome back to Around the Table with Stacy Smith. As we're taking a look at the political scene, I just want to say that I took your advice, and that's why I have three gentlemen with me right now who are much smarter than me. And if you tell me what to do, that's what I'll do. Let's take a look at where the electorate stands now for next year. Let's just take a look at the two congressional races that have the most impact in the Pittsburgh area. That would be Summer Lee and also Chris DeLuzio. Let's take DeLuzio's race first. Governor, as a Republican, does yesterday's election give you any hope for unseating him in the next year?
Well, I don't have the numbers of what the plus or negatives are as to his seat right there, whether it's a +2 seat Democrat seat or whatever. I do know Rob Mercurio, state representative from in the McCandless area, is planning on running, would be a well-qualified candidate. It'll come down to funding. It's very difficult to unseat incumbents, congressional incumbents, but if you're going to do it the first time out that they're running is probably a good time. I think the district leans to the Democrat side, so that makes it different. But you got to remember who's at the top of the ticket. Is it going to be a rematch of Biden and Trump? And that's going to affect everything all the way down into the congressional races and the state house races. So who's going to be able to do it? I don't know. I think Summer Lee has a bigger hurdle with some of the positions that she's taken that alienate her from traditional Democrats that would support her.
Well, Chris DeLuzio has done a wonderful job in that district, and that district's actually gotten a little better for him as well. Congressional seats have a service side, constituent service side, and a legislative side. He's on top of the legislative side, fighting for train safety in particular, which has affected his district dramatically after the train wreck they had up that way. And on the constituent service side, he just does a wonderful job. He responds to his constituents and provides them with the services they need. I believe that if we have a chance of getting the kind of federal support we need in this region, we have to rely on Chris DeLuzio, because Summer Lee has no interest in bringing home dollars to her district. That's just not what she's about. She's about her own particular philosophy and pursuing that in Congress.
All right, Jim, you have about 1 minute.
Chris DeLuzio hit the ground running, and he hasn't stopped since. Sophie Masloff once said, your next campaign begins a minute after you were sworn in. Chris DeLuzio has done that for the reasons the professor has indicated. Very active, very engaged, very hands-on, and very, very much engaged in getting the dollars we need for this region. Strong incumbent. I suspect with that ethic, he will do very, very well in the spring next year and again in the fall.
Do you think he'll have a challenger in the spring?
I don't think so. And if he does, I don't see as hard as he works and as well as he's done, he just keeps to the grindstone, and I think he will be successful.
All right. Your two compatriots here has indicated they think Summer Lee might have some issues next year. Do you agree?
If it's a snapshot of a moving picture, if it was right now, the answer would be yes. She could end up getting a primary from a moderate Democrat. And if she survives that, she's going to have a difficult time in November. I don't think that can be debated right now.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us once again for Around the Table with Stacy Smith. And I want to thank Jim and Tom and Joe for being with us. Once again, Keith Schmidt, one of our regular panelists, could not join us today, but he'll be back with us the next time. I also want to thank you for joining us, and I hope that you join us again for the next edition of Around the Table with Stacy Smith.